everyone, so we continue with our decimal numbers, decimal places. So in this video I'm gonna pay particular attention to decimal places and how to identify them. So decimal places start from after the decimal point. So what if I have the number 53.134? So read over the line that we have here. Decimal places start from after the decimal point. First of all, let's locate where the decimal point is. The decimal point is right here, right? So that's the decimal point. Right? And now let's identify. I'm just going to write over the number here a little bigger and a little spaced out. So here we have the decimal point. So it starts from after the decimal point. So therefore, this one here represents the first decimal place. And what do you think the 3 represents? The 3, yes, the 3 represents the second decimal place. Good. And what about the 4? The 4 will represent the third decimal place. Now, very simple. Locate where the decimal point is, so right here. And then we'll go in looking at the right after the decimal point. So right after the decimal point on the right hand side, the first number is the first decimal place, the second number is the second decimal place, third number is the third decimal place, and if we had another number here, that would have been the fourth and fifth, and they keep on going like that, right? So very simple how to locate decimal places. Alright, so now we're going to look at some examples. Now in these examples, if you want to try them without seeing the answer, first just pause the video and try them, and then when you're done, continue playing, and then you'll see the answers. Alright, so let's look at the questions that we have here. It says, first one says, circle the second decimal place in each number below. So we're looking at A first. So A is 124.1567. So the second decimal place, let's locate that, right? So we have our point right here. So the number right after the point on the right hand side is your first decimal place, right? And my second decimal place would be the one right after, which would be 5. Cool? And then just for reference, the 6 is the third decimal place, 7 is the fourth decimal place. Cool. Alright, part B, 41.32. So the point is right here, and then we're looking at the numbers right after the point on the right hand side. So 3 is the first decimal place, 2 is your second. Very easy. Here and then part C, we have 0.0015. 0 is the first decimal place, 0 is the second decimal place, second 0 there, right? So great, very easy, right? Alright, let's look at number 2. Circle the first decimal place in each number. This is very easy. The first decimal place in each number will be the first number on the right hand side after the decimal point. So in this one, A, it will be 8. In B, 5012.6104, it will be 6. And in C, 8.915, it will be that 9, right? So very easy, right? So now we're going to look at rounding off decimal numbers. Very simple. You'd have met this at some point before. So let's look at some examples that we have in front of us. So the first example we have is round off the following numbers to 3 decimal places. So we have 4 parts here, A, B, and C, A, B, C, and D, sorry. And we're going to look at how to do it, right? So look at the writing in blue here. It first says, firstly identify your third decimal place. So let's look at, we're going to do 8 together, right? So we have 0.8143. Remember, decimal places, we start counting after the decimal point on the right-hand side, right? So 8 is your first decimal place, 1 is your second decimal place, 4 is your third decimal place. So great, we identified our third decimal place, which is 4. Now let's look at the second point in blue. Since we want to round off to 3 decimal places, draw a line after the third decimal place. So let's do that. Draw a line. So the third decimal place is 4. So I'm drawing a line right after. So that's the cut in between the 4 and the 3 there. Good. Then look at the number right after the line. The number right after the third decimal place. So the number right after the line or the number right after the third decimal place is the 3. Good. If it is 5 or greater, we add 1 to the third decimal number, the number before the line. Alright, so this is a 3 here. So it's not 5 or greater, right? So we could write as this is actually less than 5, right? So we do not add. So once it's 5 or greater, you add 1. Once it's not 5 or greater, you're not adding anything. So basically, my answer will just remain as 0.814. That 3 you leave out. We're going to leave out all the other numbers. Oh, sorry, my writing is bad. All the other numbers after the line. Right, pretty simple, right? So we're going to look at the others, so have no fear. Maybe we can look at one right in the corner here. So we are looking at now B. So let's look at B. So B is 743.5689. Remember, we're going to round it out to 3 decimal places. So again, identify your third decimal place. So decimal point, so the number here, this is 5 is your first decimal place, 6 is your second, 8 is your third. After the third, you draw a line. Great. You're looking at the number right after your line, which is a 9. If it's 5 or greater, we add 1, right? So we add 1. So this is greater than 5, right? Cool. So what did you say about adding 1? If it is 5 or greater, we add 1 to the third decimal place, the number before the line. So we actually added 1 to the third decimal place, the number before the line. So what would my answer be? 743.568 and 1 is 9. And remember the note, leave out all the other numbers after the line. So you see a 9 after the line we drew here, you forget about that, right? So my final answer is this. 743.569. So what you can do is pause the video, try C and D on your own, and then after you finish, then you can go back and play the video to see the answer, right? Alright, so we're looking at C and D now. So let's look at C first. So 3.9422. We want to round this off to 3 decimal places. Again, identify 3 decimal place. 9 is your first decimal place. 4 is your second decimal place. And the first 2 here is your third decimal place. So I'm drawing a line here. We're looking at the number right after the line. Right, this is less than 5. So when it's less than 5, we're not adding anything, right? So my answer will just be, looking at all the numbers before the line, 3.942. And that's it. For D, again, locate your third decimal place. Decimal point is here. 7, first decimal place. Next 7, second. 8 is your third. Draw your line. And this is greater than 5. So what we have to do, we have to add 1. So we will get for our final answer 3,481.779. Yeah, leaving out everything else after that, right? So very easy, very simple. Alright, last set of examples for this video. So this one says round out the following to 2 decimal places. So very easy, following the same method as before. So part A is 2.135. Again, if you want to try this without seeing the answer first, pause the video, go ahead and try it, and then when you finish, come back and play the video. Alright, so first we need to identify since it's 2 decimal places, we want to identify our second decimal place. So 1 is your first, 3 is your second, so draw your line. And we're looking at the number right after the line. So this is 5, right? So this number, this is 5. So remember what I said, once it's 5 or greater, once it is 5 or greater, we're going to add 1, right? So we added 1 there, we get 2.14. That's my answer. Remember, after the line, I put in back those numbers, right? And then B, 31.023. Right? Second decimal place, let's identify it. 0 is your first, 2 is your second. Draw your line. Now, this here is less than 5. So what that means, you're not adding anything at all to the number before. So you just get 31.02. We're leaving out all the other numbers after the line, right? And you see, very easy. And that's it for this video. Go over and just play over the video, pause, whenever you need to. If you have any questions, you can ask me at any time, right? Thank you.